Hello Facebook world, it is mini concert number 69. First up tonight is a song that's known by different titles on both sides of the Atlantic, and songs are quite different too. Over in the UK side it's known as Stewball, on our side it's known as Stewball. Stewball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he always drank wine. Well, his bridle was silver, and his mane it was gold, and the worth of his saddle has never been told. Well, the fairgrounds were crowded, Stewball was there, but the betting was heavy on the bay and the mare. Well, I bet on the bay mare, bet on the bay, but I bet on old Stewball if he man's day. 'Cause way out yonder, ahead of them all, came a dancing and a prancing, that noble Stewball. Well, the hoot owl she hollered, and the turtles up moans, for a poor boy in trouble on a long way from home. Well, Stewball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he always drank wine. So that's the Stewball version. Kind of patterned a little bit after the Peter, Paul, and Mary version. Next up is a Johnny Cash song. Brother Ron in California seems to like this song. Well, I taught the weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover of a clear blue sky. The tears I cried for that woman are gonna flood you bigger river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota. Tore me up every time I heard that drawl, southern drawl. Then I heard my dream went back downstream, a port and named out the port. So I followed you, big river, when you called. Well, you took me to St. Louis, later on down the river. Vader said she's been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. I found her trail in Memphis, but she just walked up the bluff. She raised a few eyebrows and then she went on down below. Why don't you batter down by Baton Rouge, river clean rolling on? Take that woman on down to New Orleans, New Orleans. Go on, I've had enough. Take my blues down in the Gulf. She loves you, bigger river, more than me. Well, I I taught the weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover of a clear blue sky. Here's a cry for that old woman, I'm gonna love you, little river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die. So that's Johnny Cash's Big River. Next up is an Eric Bogle song. If I have it right, Eric was a Scotsman who lived in England and then moved to Australia. He wrote a lot of songs about World War I. They sound like they're old songs, but he actually wrote them back in the 50s, so they're old, but not as old as they sound. This one has to do a little bit with the unofficial national anthem of Australia. When I was a young man, they carried me back, and I lived a free life of a rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I would waltz my Matilda all over. But then in 1915, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. And they gave me a tin hat, and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay, and amidst all the cheers, flag waving and tears, sailed off for Gallipoli. Well, I'll never forget that terrible day when our blood stained the sands and the waters, and how in that hell they call Suvla Bay we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Well, Johnny Turkey was ready, he'd primed himself well, he rained us with bullets and he showered us with shells. And in 5 minutes flat, we were all blown to hell. He nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, and we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours, and the Turks buried theirs. Started all over again. Well, those who remained just tried to survive in this mad world of blood, death, and fire. For 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while the corpses around me piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell blew me arse overhead, and when I awoke in the hospital bed, seeing what it had done, well, I wished I was dead. I never knew there were worse things than dying. So no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush, far and free. The hump tent and pegs and needs both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. Well, they gathered the injured, the wounded, the maimed, and they took us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Stewball. her key. I looked at the place where the legs used to be. Thank Christ, there was no one there waiting for me to mourn and to grieve and to pity. And the band played Waltzing and Matilda, and they carried us down the gangway. Nobody cheered, they just stood there and stared, and they turned their faces away. Now every April I sit on the porch and I watch the parades pass before me. I see my old comrades, how proudly they march, reliving their days of past glory. While the old men march slowly, all bent, stiff and sore, the forgotten heroes of a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. And the band plays Waltz and Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But year after year, their numbers get fewer. Soon no one will march here at all. Waltz and Matilda, Waltz and Matilda, oh come a waltzing Matilda with me. And their ghosts can be heard as they march by the along. Oh come a waltzing Matilda with me. So that is, the band played Waltzing Matilda. Let's see, next up is Kenny Rogers' song. Back in the days when I was in the Navy in Sardinia, I got involved with a bunch of people that played guitar and sang, and we were contemplating making a band. This is one of the songs we were doing. On a warm summer's evening, train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns to stare out the window at the darkness. Boredom overtook us. He began to speak. He said, son, I've made a lifetime out of meeting people's faces, knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. You don't mind my saying, well, I can see you're out of aces for a taste of your whiskey. Give you some advice. So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he brought a cigarette and asked me for a light. Then the night got deathly quiet. His face lost all expression. He said, you gotta play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. Well, every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to drifted off to sleep. Then somewhere in the darkness, the gambler he broke even, and in his final words I found an ace that I could keep. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. So that's Kenny Rogers, the Gambler. Not a whole lot lighter mood than the song before. Next up is a John Prine song, one of my favorite songwriters. This one is about his parents' hometown of Paradise, Kentucky, which doesn't exist anymore because of strip mining, and that's sort of the point of the song. It's called Paradise. Western Kentucky, where my parents were born. There's a backwards old town so often remembered. So many times my memories are worn. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, by the Green River, where paradise lays? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled it away. Sometimes we travel right down the Green River, the abandoned old prison by Adrie Hill, where the air smelled like snakes and we shoot with our pistols. But empty pop bottles was all we could kill. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, by the Green River, where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Well, the coal company came with the world's largest shovel, and they tortured the timber and they stripped all the land. They dug for their coal till the land was forsaken. Then they wrote it all down as the progress of man. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, by the Green River, where paradise lay? Sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. When I die, let my ashes float down the Green River. Let my soul roll on up to the Rochester Dam. I'll be halfway to heaven with paradise waiting, only 5 miles from wherever I am. Daddy, won't you take me back to Muhlenberg County, by the Green River, where paradise lay? Well, I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. Mr. Peabody's coal train has hauled it away. So that's John Prine's Paradise. We lost John back in the spring of 2020 to COVID, unfortunately. Now, the line about the world's largest shovel is actually true. Peabody Coal company brought the world's largest steam shovel into Paradise to do the strip mining. And when they were finished, they buried it in place, and it's still there. So, next song up is written by a sailor. He got caught in a storm and requested divine intervention to save his life, and he survived. So he changed his life, and he also wrote this song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Was grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many troubles, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that's seen us through thus far, and grace will lead us home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we know less days to sing God's praise, and when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So that's obviously Amazing Grace. That is the conclusion of mini concert number 69. I'd like to mention that next week I'm going to be in New Hampshire, and it's very possible that I will have a guest artist playing with me. I haven't confirmed that yet. And it's also very possible that the mini concert next week will be on a Monday. So mini concert number 70, possibly on Monday night. See you then.